Hi, I'm Seamless. And that was kind of loud. And this is the 30th 30K tutorial. And this is the sound that I made. Now, I will freely admit that is not, like, that's maybe 70% of what the original sound was. Like, it's not super duper on point. I even got the notes wrong. Like, all that kind of good stuff. And the reason why I'm still using this as the last 30K tutorial is because this is the closest I've ever gotten to any kind of Noisia-esque bass. So, let's talk about how that works. So this is a resampled sound, and this is what it was originally. Burps. It began as a bandpass bass. Without the effects on it, this is what it sounds like. I'm thinking, oh my god, that sounds like where'd the modulation come from? Well, let's talk about what this bass is. So, on the A part is that, and the B part is this. It's kind of a lot of random shit going on, and the reason why this ended up becoming like this is because I wanted to have a lot of high frequency definition to later apply that sort of high-end flangey business that the Noisia basses tend to have. I tried to do phaser stuff and all this kind of whatever. A lot of this was just shooting in the dark, trying to find things that worked. And I used the rubber distortion. It's pretty hard distortion. Big old unison with a lot of phase and high pitch and panning, and same thing with the B part, only it's on Hertz mode. It's almost totally A. There's a little bit of B in there to layer in kind of stuff, but it's distorted so hard that the bandpass almost makes no difference. So in the effects, I have the flanger on. And then I have a real bandpass. Now, along with bandpassing, I pushed out the high frequencies here. And you may notice that they only really come into play when the bandpass gets kind of near the high frequencies. It gets a little pumped up. That's what that's for. And distorted. This is really just a little bit of saturation. Some EQ for coloring. A Maximus for evening out the frequencies. And then Edison to record it. And I did. And then I dumped it into Harmor. So Harmor, I'm doing A and B. Now this is kind of where this actually got as closer to the usual sound than most of the time. And this is because of what the sharpness knob does. So when you put in a sound into Harmor and you mess around with the sharpness knob, nothing will happen unless you have either unison or prism engaged, or some kind of like effect on the sound. Without anything like that, the sharpness does almost nothing to the sound. Or if you mess around with the scale knob. But so what I have here is on the mid, because I split this up into A and B, where you turn on the side for B, and it splits up into mid and side. So this is why it's a stereo resample. Without B, and without the reverb. You see it's mono. But like over here I have the sharpness on the pretty low end side. And when you do that, the sort of phasey quality of whatever unison you have setting becomes more apparent. Versus like, I break it down. So that sort of that phasiness in the sound is a result of that. But I still kind of wanted the other qualities involved, so I had the sharpness turn on the way up for the side. And layer together. A little bit of log distortion, some compression. A and B does not. I'm not doing anything special on any of this. And then I'm doing another bandpass. This is a different modulation, as you see comparatively here. Without the modulation, this is what this sounds like. That right there is the most Noisia-ish I've ever sounded. Like I may have done more interesting basses, but as far as just like pure Reese Town, that's the best I've ever done. Even if it's still not as good as what it was in the track that I'm supposedly remaking right now. But yeah, so all the effects back on. And then the other bandpass, I pushed up the high frequencies here, which gives us this little area here. I accidentally turned this over to peaking when I really wanted to be high shelf, but because I did that and it worked, I'm going to keep it like that. So really, what happens is that like the bandpass passes the frequencies, but it as it gets up close to the high frequencies, it actually it pushes up the high frequencies more. So it's sort of like it increases the bandwidth of the bandpass automatically as it approaches high frequencies, as opposed to having to like do it manually. So we're able to preserve the sort of crunchy, phasey high frequencies without a whole lot of work. It's still only just have one modulation. I didn't render out the resampling. It's playing directly out of the hardware right now. Just because I was experimenting with the bandpass over it, and it worked out pretty okay. So that's more or less what's up. That's this sound. The project file for this will be available in the description, and this is the last 30K tutorial. I am not taking any more requests. I'm not doing it. So yes, thank you for thank you for giving me 30,000 subscribers. Holy balls! In fact, I think we're halfway to 31,000, so that's kind of cool. And I'm glad that you find the things that I do helpful and useful in your life. I appreciate everything that you guys do. And if you have any questions about any of this, let me know. As usual, have a nice day.